Hello, welcome to day 2 of our phonics lessons for the week of May 4th, 2020. Last time we reviewed high frequency words, and today we're going to work on prefixes, and next time we're going to work on homophones. So let's get started. For day 2, we will need a writing utensil and a piece of paper. So please get a writing utensil and a piece of paper. Also, it really helps if you get a yellow crayon or marker or a highlighter because that will help you with the activities as we move on. So prefixes. Prefixes are added to the words to make a brand new word. So for instance, re, un, or dis. I will reread this paper. I will read it again. I will undo my mistake. I will disagree with you because I don't believe in that. Okay, so those are just ways that we can use prefixes in our everyday life. Today we're going to focus on the prefixes tri and inter. The prefix tri means 3, like triangle, 3 angles. Tricycle, it's a 3-wheeled bike. A bicycle is actually using a prefix bi, which means 2. So tricycle is a 3-wheeled vehicle. The prefix inter means between, within, or among. So interrupt, bursts between it. So like if a volcano is interrupting, it is bursting between the ground and underneath the ground in the atmosphere. Internet, networks that connect between each other because they're connecting the net. Internet. All right, so we're going to start now. Our first word is triathlon. So what we need to do is highlight the prefix, underline the root word or base word, and write the meaning of the word. All right, I had to get my highlighter tool ready. So triathlon, tri is the prefix, and athlon is the root of the word. A triathlon is a race with 3 continuous and sequential races put together. So for instance, a common triathlon that we have would be swimming for one part, bicycling for the next part, and running for the third part. So someone would, for instance, swim. Then once they're done with the swimming portion of the race, then they would bike. Once they're done with the biking portion of the race, they would run. And they would have to do this one event after another. So that makes it continuous and sequential. 1, 2, 3, right after another. All right, so that's 3 things. Triathlon. Next word, triceratops. You might be quite familiar with this. A triceratops is a dinosaur with 3 horns on its head. Triceratops happens to be one of my favorite dinosaurs. It is an herbivore, and they're very large. Triceratops, a dinosaur with 3 horns on its head. Trilogy. Now, notice I'm saying trilogy, not trilogy. That's how it's pronounced, but you still see the tri there. So the word is trilogy. A trilogy is a group of 3 related things. A lot of times we'll think of a trilogy that could be 3 books in a row. So 3 stories all in a row written about the same kind of topic. Sometimes a movie comes in 3s and that would be called a trilogy. So tri means 3. Interactive. Interactive. It's 2 or more things having an effect on one another. So if I am interacting with my dog and I are doing things together. Like I like to interact with him by taking him on a walk or throwing a ball. So two people or things having an effect on one another. So if I interact with my dog, like throw the ball, then he would interact with me by retrieving it and bringing it back to me. Intermission. Oops, my head's in the way, guys. Oops, sorry, I'll get out of the way here. Intermission is a break between parts, like in a play. So for instance, my family has gone to the children's theater and the play is quite long, but I mean, I'm enjoying every minute of it, but they'll usually have an intermission in the middle of the play, and that's a time where you can get some refreshments, maybe some something to drink and something to eat, or use the restroom. So an intermission is a break between parts. Next we have interstate. Interstate. It's carried on between the states. So for instance, the highway system in our country has a lot of interstates. That means that they are connected between the states. If we didn't have interstates, what would happen would be, like, let's say I'm driving and I get to Iowa. Whoop, there's no road there. I can't keep going. I have to stop. I have to figure out how am I going to get to Iowa because the road stops. So interstate highways really come in handy because it's connecting each of the lower 48 states all together. So interstate is carried on between the states. All right, prefixes. We're going to locate the words that have the prefix tri and inter in each sentence and then determine the meaning of the prefix used. Okay, so number one, Spring Lake Park schools are scheduled on trimesters. Spring Lake Park schools are scheduled on trimesters. Trimesters are where the school year is broken into 3 equal parts. So for instance, before spring break, we just finished trimester 2. So now we're doing our 3rd trimester learning at home because of the COVID-19 virus. So we had 2/3 of our school year we were learning together, and 1/3, so the 3rd trimester is when we're learning at our house. Okay? Number 2, I received a note through inter-office mail yesterday. I received a note through inter-office mail yesterday. Inter-office means, for instance, a note came from one of the offices and was sent to another office, all through the Spring Lake Park schools. So it's not like I got a piece of mail from my brother in Washington State. No, because he's not part of the Spring Lake Park school system. But if a teacher from Centerview wanted to send me something in the mail through inter-office mail so I could read that, they would just send it through inter-office mail. That means from one office to the other office. Number 3, the new tricycle was a shiny red color. The new tricycle was a shiny red color. So tricycle is a 3-wheeled vehicle, right? Because usually when we think of tricycles, we think of little kids and they're a lot of times red and they're riding and they're riding. But actually motorized vehicles can also be a tricycle if they have 3 wheels. My kids at home always interrupt my conversations. My kids at home always interrupt my conversations. And unfortunately, that's a true statement. But interrupt means to break in between two things. So, for instance, if I'm talking with my husband, we're having a conversation, and a kid comes in and interrupts, they're breaking the conversation. Do we see that? So that's what interrupt is. All right. Thank you for working really hard today. I hope you learned a lot of new vocabulary words and that you will use the prefixes tri and inter frequently. I hope you have a great day.